life happens. This is James Summers. I'm a psychological horror author. We're going to be talking today about first responder. I have to take my interviews where I can. I've been trying to get this one here for quite a while. It's going to be a three-part series total, of which she only knows of two, of which today we are only going to do one, and hence my love of the number three. So here we go. I'm going to send it over to Audra. She's going to talk loud enough and clear and crisp, and here we go.
Oh, wow. What an introduction. First of all, happy to be here. Excited to get your thoughts on some of this stuff. And I just have to explain to everyone, I am not a fan of psychological horror. My genre that I'm drawn to is rom-coms, okay? But I really like the concept of first responder, and I like the characters in first responder. So today we're just going to drill down a little bit more into that. So my first question is, how would you describe the storyline for first responder to someone who's new to the first responder book?
Okay. Well, California, EMTs, ambulances, dark, curvy roads, uh, someone that has a need for help will reach out, or somebody will call 911, get somebody on their way. And so the title is first responder. One day on a camping trip, I actually thought it was a nice quiet evening, and then it was just broken sirens. Somebody had a little fire at their camper. They got out of control, so they called everybody, like literally everybody, and it was dark. And I thought it would be so cool to find out if the person that came first, or people, in this case it's just one individual. I thought about, what if the person that showed up as a first responder was not a first responder? They had not just ulterior motives, but that was a way for me to start to bring my vampire character to life.
It's very cool. Like I said, it's a really unique, it's a very unique storyline here. So I'm just going to dive in, and I'm going to push you a little bit here because I love the main character of the book, Dr. Stevens. Um, Tell me, how would you describe Dr. Stevens to anyone who's new to first responder?
Well, he's an older man, not young. The story of how he is the way he is now, though he's been that way for a long time, right? Vampire. That comes in another part. But he's a kind of a frail guy. Yes, he's a little bit pale, but a lot of old people are, right? So he fits in. He blends in
Wait,
as
he's an anemic vampire?
wow.
Wow.
Okay, so yes, I'm actually shocked you know more about vampires than I thought you did. So that's okay. Um, but yeah, get back to your question, and it's like to say that I'm on target and usually trying to reverse the roles here. Um, but yeah, so you, as an old person, uh, not all doctors are really young, and not all are really old. But he does look like an atypical doctor, even though he's old, a little bit frail, a little bit pale, and he does find himself partial to his white smock and his pocket protector, which shows that he is in fact dating himself that way. But so yes, he actually works in an eating disorder clinic. Of course, at nights he has a job schedule. Very nice job. He only has to work 3 days a week. I really don't know any doctor. I know a couple, but I don't know any doctors that actually work 3 days a week. Really, they're putting in their time, even though they fight for some of their off days and whatnot. They are there. So he's got it pretty good. So
Um, so tell me more about Dr. Stevens. He's he has a girlfriend, right?
He's dating.
Okay, he's dating. So
He's
what
dating.
draws women to this frail, anemic vampire?
All vampires are charismatic. It's part of their traits. It's how they talk. One could say that they have been around so long that they are practiced. They know what to say. They know what to ask. They would be great to interview somebody. I may visit that down the road. Maybe that's his next
Oh, they
career.
did that interview with a vampire.
Okay, moving on. Wow. Okay, so I actually do write horror fiction, not comedy, in case anybody wants to know. But yes. Okay, so what was the question again? Since you did that to
I don't
me.
know. I totally derailed
Okay.
myself because I was
Oh,
witty.
okay. So yes, we're gonna cover back and circle back around, but I think
Oh,
the
why would people
charisma.
want to date
Oh, they
Dr.
want to date.
Stevens? Because he's got a girlfriend.
Well,
So,
actually, he doesn't have a girlfriend, but he actually is dating. He meets somebody. He's drawn to her, and really, when he's around, he is the center of attention. Now, he does blend in, so even though people might be looking for him, trying to run into him again, or maybe even frequent where they found him or saw him, if just to talk to him for whatever reason that might be, still have difficulty, recognizing him until he actually steps out to be known. So yeah, he does run into somebody. He does. It is kind of a romance. There's it's dark and twisted. I am going to skew that. She's not normal, and he is not normal. But together, uh, it's a great compliment, and that's what really meshes. That's where it starts.
okay. Well, that makes sense. So he's a charismatic, frail-looking doctor in his 50s ish.
Sure.
Okay. So we know that underlying this charismatic person is a vampire. So how does he get his vampire needs met?
Okay. He has a nice schedule. He's working evenings. He's in a therapy kind of role. So he's not stuck with elbow to elbow with different levels of doctors and nurses to help somebody as if in a trauma room or an emergency room or any part of normal uh, what I think normal medical visit would be. He's by himself. It's a consult for the most part. It's not as simple as what did you eat today? Did you feel you should have eaten that today? It's more personal, but the focus is eating disorders. And it's funny because he actually, you might think that he has an eating disorder. So it's kind of a unique take on that. But he'll listen to the radio, the call radio. He actually has embraced technology only up to the point where he has to. He doesn't have a cell phone. Like he gets a couple down the road, right, from what he's doing, but he knows what they are. Doesn't have them, right? So, but he does have a little hand scanner. So he intercepts that call for help. He's going to get there before anyone else does. He's efficient and quick. And say you're the one on the dark, curvy roads, driving. You're hitting the corners too fast. You lose control. You wreck. You make it out. Your vehicle doesn't have to be burning. Doesn't have to be on fire or smoking. You just need help, right? So you make that call. You're crawling away. You've made it, and then oh, what? Maybe the car explodes. That's great. You're not there. You made it. So you're waiting for help. Help's going to come, right? Because you dialed 911. So he will get there first. He will feed on you, and he'll put you back in the vehicle where you were only moments ago. And that's how he hides himself. That's how he disguises what he is and what he does. And the first responder also has a character named Karen, and Karen is legitimately a first responder. She actually helps, and that's what she does. So she is starting to notice these things. She tries to rationalize how it looks when she gets there, who she expected to be free and waiting for her, hopefully in some state where she could salvage, help, repair, heal, or and they're not, right? So that's where the questions come in. That's where it starts to unravel a little bit. He's really not sloppy. He's very detailed and meticulous. But when you're doing things in a habit, and it's almost every night, literally, we would say as humans, every night for him, this is something that it becomes common. He's been doing it for a long time. So not sloppy, just maybe somebody else has gotten lucky, and that's where the story progresses.
Okay, that's really interesting. Um, Tell me more about the character Karen in the book.
Okay. Um, Karen is loosely based off of a an EMT that I actually know. As far as just the job and the role and the physical take and the mental take uh, on someone that does that job, and that the talking and my little investigation and research, if you will, on that came months before this first responder, came into fruition and clicked. But it did hit nicely together, and when it came that nicely, for me to throw some psychological horror into it, I kind of mash it together at times to get to you to experience what I want you to experience. But uh, as far as it goes, the long hours, uh, the spiffy uniforms, uh, the on off schedule or lack thereof, everything that happens with that. There's times where she has a partner, almost always a partner. So that is something that I bring in as well. It's not just her versus him. It's not even a her versus him, really, to begin with. It may turn out that way to an extent as she notices things, but it's not not meant to be that way from the beginning. So yes, Karen is very interesting, very detailed, and she has a pretty significant role to play, and she's a strong woman character.
Nice. Circling back to Dr. Stevens, we talked about how charismatic he was and, who he is and underlying who he is. What are his insecurities? He's been around for centuries.
Mm,
What are his insecurities?
okay. Well, he's bored. He's bored. So he is going through. He doesn't have anybody in his. I call it unlife right now. People might hate that, but he doesn't have anybody in the way he lives, his life right now. So there's no one there. So that makes it easy for him to come and go, to feed, to do the things that he can do. He does. He has hobbies. He's got a job. The job is there because it benefits him. He doesn't need the money. It benefits him for getting out and doing the things that he needs to do, for being in the know, to listening, to finding out. He could just walk down the street and stay in a building until he can't. Right? He can do everything in that area until he can't. But that would be really, that would be, he would say, down to earth. His vampire is pretty fun to think about that. But that would be something that it would drive him crazy for being around that long. He wouldn't enjoy that. So he does spend a lot of his time with hobbies, and I kind of throw that in a little bit as it happens. But hobbies is still not a male, or if he won't just feed on women, he feeds on males too. So as far as his orientation goes, he likes women, and it's not because they're frail. He actually likes women because they're strong. Some of his biggest wrestles and his biggest fights, the things that he literally wrestles with, or sometimes when he goes for someone that's just opportunistic, if it turns out to be a woman, he's looking at her for something more than just sustenance. He wants somebody to spend time with. He's not necessarily looking for someone to make into a vampire like him because he likes the change. He likes the human buffet, if you will. He likes being able to just pick up and go. 70s lifestyle, you might think, if you're that old. But that's where I'll leave it.
So I'm hearing that he's lonely, so he does like that human connection. And I'm also hearing that he's footloose and fancy free, and he likes to just, get some and then move on, essentially. Is
Blood?
that right?
Are we talking blood?
Yeah, we're talking. Well, we're talking relationships here.
Okay. Yes, the
Because
best
I'm
kind of.
assuming if he wants blood, he's going to kill the person because he's going to suck their life force out of their jugular.
Yep, and other parts too. But yeah. So he likes the fact that anytime he wants, if he's already bored, so he likes and he's drawn to the point that he can get to know somebody as much as he wants to, and then he can literally move on. He can move on.
Is he afraid that people will find out who he is? Is that why he doesn't want to make roots with people, or is he afraid he's going to get hurt because the people who are
nobody
will die?
Nobody hurts Dr. Stevens.
Well, no, I'm trying to dig in and really understand who this person is. Does he not want to make friends because he knows that he'll never die and essentially he'll outlive all of his friends?
Well, he's able to do what he wants to do. He doesn't stress any of that. He actually knows a couple of vampires, and he's not really running from them. But that's not what he's not part of. Okay, this is really great. This is something I've been wanting to. You're the only person that's actually pushed me down this direction. Is as far as the world of first responder, and I say world because there are five books, 3 of which are done, 1 of which is published, 1's finishing the notes, and 1's a prequel. They're all equally awesome. They're great. They take it, they expand upon it. I love it. But as far as what people would call the economy or the political, social impact, everything like that, he's by himself. He doesn't pay. Well, actually, he does pay taxes. He's got a job, right? But he doesn't have anything going on with the vampire community. He's not a part of a group. He does not owe allegiance to, other than follow the simple rules of do unto others and let nobody else find out. Hide yourself. You don't announce. You don't do what's one of my favorite vampires of all times. No one has asked me that yet. I'll just blurt that out. Is Lestat. Some people say Lestat. Yes, shout out to her who wrote that and brought him to life. His little concert, his coming out party, if you will, fantastic. It's fantastic, but it just doesn't get done. It doesn't get done, and those are reasons why. So yes, he doesn't fear anyone. He's really cautious. He's not where he sits in a room and looks over his shoulder. He doesn't come into a street or a city and look for his escape. He doesn't have to. He's got time. He can fight and escape of anything that presents itself. And this is something that grows progressively more tasking, progressively more important as these things happen and some parts of the story move forward. But no, he as far as everything goes, he's by himself. He likes that. He can come and go. He has the little relationships that he can manage, and it's really him. The phrase that says "it's not you, it's me" really applies to Dr. Stevens. It really does.
Okay. So ultimately, Dr. Stevens is complex. It's a very complex character.
Simple in method and very complex because you don't really know why he did or did not do something.
If Dr. Stevens were a real person, would you like to be his friend?
Hell no. 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 because it's a one-sided. It's. Can you imagine, like, when you have a falling out with friends? If you're in college or high school, you may like to be seen, even though you don't like the person. You may not like to be seen with that person. You may like to be seen only with that person, right? But how about if that person just was able to literally discard you, and you would be gone? So why go to college? Why try to date the good, the jock if you like jocks? Why try to move up on the chess team or anything that you were going to do if you would meet that person that would take you out? You know, to you may be, and it wouldn't be where he doesn't really have a sense of humor. It's really dry. It's really dry. But I attribute that to him being tired, being have heard almost everything that you can possibly say. The only thing that he cannot get tired of, and he does not get tired of, and cannot possibly know, is how you as an individual will react, how you will respond. Everybody has the fight or flight to some extent, and it's a gradient. It's not the same for a small person, from one small person to the next, from a large person. The movie Deliverance is classic, and it brings it out, right? The macho tough guy doing his thing, trying to get everybody in the woods. Come on, let's do it. Let's, whatever. And the other guy that's like, no, really, I just don't want to. This is not what I really enjoy. And when those roles are twisted and skewed, I absolutely love that. I thrive on that. I try to show the difference and the confusion, and it's chaos, right? So, like the movie with the dinosaur, I won't mention any other names with that, but pretty much that narrows it down. When the water, a drop of water hits the hand, and there's no exact path that it'll go, and no matter what, just there's so many things that impact that, right? So there's no way he doesn't know when he comes for you. If he goes to talk to you, if he makes you uncomfortable, which he does purposely, he doesn't do that unless he wants to. So if he draws that emotion out of you, and this is happening, he has no idea how you're going to react. So that's why he's fascinated by humans, and he's taken a couple male partners. He has been with males. I don't really get into that anything as far as that in First Responder, maybe in the history as I open that up for another book. But it's only to the point to where he is interested. This sounds so weird. He's interested in the person, like the person. Yes, he needs them for obvious reasons, but he's basically getting the eyeball of hurry up. So I've covered everything. Again, my interviews are like a politician in nature, where I will get to your answer the way I want to. But there you go. So both of us are happy. You got at least one more question before your pleasure meter is running out of being tired. So go for it.
Yeah,
Maybe two.
I'm
Maybe
gonna take
two.
a step back. And when you're writing and the story is coming to light, what's your process? Do you have um like a script or an outline that you're working from, or as you're writing the book it just unfolds in your head and you basically put it down on paper? Like, do you have a plan when you start writing a book? Do you know how it's going to end and how you're going to get there, or is it something that unfolds in that creative process?
The creative process happens, throughout the day, throughout the night. No, nothing is finished in an entire weekend. Now, I may tear up some notes. I may do an awesome job for details. I may throw down the way I want characters to look or the way I liked something, and then I will piece that together and kind of build on it. I would say almost always I have a beginning. Almost always, and the beginning doesn't necessarily happen to start off that way. The beginning is my beginning of what my story is. It doesn't mean that's how you as a reader, and hopefully one day you as someone who watches movies, when I get adapted, will experience it, right? So I like to go forward and back. I have a great skill at doing dream sequences. That all happens, but the way it happens is about 12 packs of sticky notes, 3 or 4 notebooks, a phone that with a stylus, a computer, a notepad, a Word document. So whatever happens to be around when I think of something, I will write it down. My first book, Breath Reality, all written down. I wrote it at work, at home, in the break room at work, on camping trips, at friends' houses, just wherever it something popped in my head. Wherever I thought of something, I wrote it down. The true horror of Breath Reality lies in me going through all the pages of documents and notes and reading my handwriting and transcribing. God awful. It was awful. So that's the first one last one to this point, that I truly wrote all on paper and pen. And because I consider that double handling, yes, it's great. I have all that notes, but you know what? I have an electronic paper trail as well. Don't care too much about that. I really don't. But so yes, I never sit down and say I would like to do A, B, and C. There's no list, and I'm big about saying there's no list about checkboxes. I don't have a series of X amount of ways I want people to die in a certain book. There's not a method or a plan or a formula. Some of my books have a really strong and detailed woman cast. Almost all women in the book. The guys are there to support, literally hold up at times, but really to be someone that women just roll right over as they make their way through my story. So there's no formula. There's not a. Some books are more balanced as far as family goes. They're basically simple mom, dad, two kids. Sometimes there's no children at all. Sometimes there's a couple married couples. Sometimes it's a diverse group of friends. And I wrote Site 23 as a large group of diverse friends that are some are married, some are dating, some are guy and guy, girl and girl. It's very, very detailed, and none of that started that way. So to answer your question, I have something that happens and something that comes up, and I say, what next? What if? And then where that goes, you'll have to read my books.
That's awesome, James. For new readers, if you could think of 5 words to describe first responder, what would those 5 words be?
Oh wow! I'm very big on numbers. Um, a couple numbers haunt me. 3 is a very, very big polarizing number for me. It's very, very personal. 5 is kind of breaks the mold. Um, so for my website, for example, peggylanders.com, I have books broken down into sentences with exactly 13 words. Of that, 2 words pair together. Of that, a single word goes from one book to the next to make another separate. But 3, as far as the yes, but 5. Let's see here. Alone in the dark again. Alone in the dark again. That's 5 words. That's just what comes to mind. So basically, I need a little bit more, but I'll cover that in a different video. But so basically, the where that comes into being, and you find this out in book 2. Book 2 is called Second. Again, Audra's helping me out with this. Uh, Great interview. I haven't cried yet. She hasn't made me cry. Only one person's done that, so that's good, I guess. Um, Alone in the dark is the way he sees himself. He doesn't have my vampires are classical until they're not. So until I don't want to do something, I will pick and choose what the vampire would do, and it may take you 2 books before you can say I never knew he could do that, and then you're gonna love it. There'll be 2 things that you're really gonna like if you follow my books. You're gonna really like it, but he doesn't have to go in a coffin, right? So Anything that's protected from light really truly is what a vampire needs, in my definition. Coffins, yes, in case anything does happen. An extra layer of protection, a locked door, if you will. Perfect. It's great, right? But he sees himself in the dark alone. And that's because he doesn't have anybody in his life. So he works on that. He doesn't, and then he gets to where he acts out. He actually goes from a couple women in a fast sequence of events as he acts out. But he only does that, and some guys will flat out say, "Baby, I only did this because you said no, because you hurt my feelings. I only called her because you hurt me." That's bullshit. Okay, that doesn't happen. I've never been that way. Now I have, for people that maybe know me a little bit too well, I have dated a couple girls at one time where I was pushed away and just things weren't working out. And then I had the infamous breakup dinner, which was classic. Everybody should really try that. It's really trying to make this not shake here. Everybody should really try it. It's really fun. Much better than a dear James letter, which I got one of those in the army as well. So yes, I've had some fun with that. But having said that, nobody has. I mean, you can date multiple people, but if someone says no or I want to see other people and you push back, they have no right to be mad at you when you find somebody that's been there the whole time that says, "Hey, I hear you no longer with." Pause, uncomfortable silence. "Oh, well, yeah, yeah. Well, let's go out. Let's have dinner." Sure, great. Why not? But so yes, he's alone. It's not necessarily his choosing, but did he have to kill some of the people he did? No. Maybe if he actually got to learn about him first, he might have liked a couple of those. But as this goes, he does get into a little phase where he actually really wants somebody who he's not sure is going to work out. Like he thinks she's not going to work out, but he's drawn to her. So what does he do? He goes out and I'll say punctures a couple other women. We'll leave it at that. That's a fun way to say it. I think I'll have to coin that phrase. Uh, he punctured twice one night and once the next. So yes, that's something that my Audra's laughing at that. Sorry. Yes. So back on point. Alone in the dark. Again, I could have said alone in the dark still. But that's something that the reader gets to experience. It is a romance. It is skewed. You read about me and other reviews. First Responder's been out for a while. Again, for detail, so books 2 is finished and 3. Books 2 and 3 are finished. And book 4 is finishing editing. So I'm all waiting for the right traditional publisher to step forward for that. But moving forward, you're going to love it. So I hope that covers all of your questions.
Perfect. Great talking with you this afternoon.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you very much. Here you go. PeggyLanders.com. James Summers is me. My website's a good balance of work and play. A lot of detail there, a lot of fun as well. So find out a little bit more. Check out Peggy Landers tonight.